CM 365, all about Carnatic music.
The compositions of Sri Tyagaraja Dikshadhar and Shyama Sastri are noted for their beautifully polished nature of the music as well as the beauty of the language. If you look at the already established ragas, they have given new dimensions to it. If they have also created new ragas through their own creative mind, they have created new ragas for us. They have also created new compositional forms. Thus we see that they are a class apart, and today we will just look into some aspects of their musical genius. Professor Samamurthy has given a simple example to make us understand the content, musical content of these three composers. That is, he calls Tyagaraja's compositions, he akins it to Draksha Rasa, that is where it's very easy for us to taste it and enjoy the essence. For Shyama Sastri, he says that it's equal to Kadali Rasa, that is, you have to, in the Kadali means banana, so you have to peel off the skin in order to relish the fruit. For Dikshadhar, he compares his compositions to Narikela Rasa, that is akin to a coconut, where it has got a tough kind of outer layer, so it is tough also to crack it open, and but ultimately once you crack it open, the coconut actually has got a very delicious taste for us to enjoy. So the three levels at which the compositions of the Trinity can be enjoyed has been expressed in a very simple and beautiful manner by Samamurthy. Coming to the study, comparative study of the compositional forms, we see that Tyagaraja confined himself to composing the Kriti and Kirtana format. He did not go into the realm of composing Varnam or Swarajati or anything like that. We have to us available about 675 compositions of his, and in that we also see that one set is the Divyanama Sankirtana, that is a very simple and unique kind of Kirtana format that he devised, that is there. But apart from that, what I want to emphasize here is that he only resorted to the Kriti and Kirtana format for composing. Coming to Dikshadhar, we see that we have about 468 compositions of his available, and in that mainly we see that two unique forms that he has adopted and composed. One is the Notuswaras, a beautiful set of compositions, very simple structured composition based on the western note. That is why it's called Notuswaras. There are about 33 of them. He has also composed 4 Raga Malikas, and the others are all in the Kriti Kirtana format only. Coming to Shyama Sastri, we see that he has composed Varnas. There are 4 Varnas that he has composed. We also know of the 3 monumental Swarajatis that he composed, and he has also composed 3 Geetams. Of course, his compositions, we see that there is only a very small number of compositions, only about 60 plus compositions available to us as given by him. But nevertheless, we see that all of them are filled with a lot of classical content. Coming to the common features of this Trinity, we see that, as mentioned earlier, they were born at the same time and their birthplace was Tiruvarur. And all the 3 of them were great poets as well as composers of music par excellence. And they are all adept in Jyotisha Shastra and Mantra Shastra. And that is what made their music very, very special as well. Coming to the languages that each one of them used, Dikshadhar, we see that his compositions are in absolute scholarly Sanskrit. As for Tyagaraja, he used both Telugu and Sanskrit in his compositions. But what is important here is that his Sanskrit and Telugu are more in a conversational mode, very simple and easy and communicative. And there are not too many underlayers as you would see in a Dikshadhar composition, where even a particular word may denote so many things. And understanding his Sanskrit is actually, it requires very in-depth study and knowledge of the language itself. Whereas for Tyagaraja, we see that it is in a very simple kind of a communicative kind of a style that he has adopted. In the case of Shyama Sastri, again we see that he has also adopted Telugu, Sanskrit, and just very minimal compositions in Tamil as well. But the most important thing again here is that, as I mentioned in one of the earlier episode also, it depicts the mother-child relationship. So obviously, when the child is talking to the mother, it will not use any bombastic or jargon language. It will be in a very simple communication, as the child speaks to the mother. So the Telugu or the Sanskrit or Tamil or whatever he has used, everything is in a very absolutely simple style, simple language he has communicated. Coming to the chosen deities of each, we see that for Tyagaraja it is his Ishtadevata was Lord Rama. In the case of Shyama Sastri, it was goddess Bangaru Kamakshi. Dikshidhar, of course, did not stick to any particular deity, and he has composed on almost all the deities that we can ever think of. So that is his contribution in terms of composing even in the rarest deities and rarest temples, which probably we would have never even heard of. So that is his contribution. Coming to the content of the music, what is the mood, what is the bhava? Tyagaraja, of course, has different kinds of layers of emotion communicated, different shades, different dimensions of emotion through his conversation to Rama, you see. And in the case of Dikshidhar, it is more intellectual in nature. There is nothing personalized. There is no personal conversation or no expression of agony or ecstasy or happiness or anything whatsoever is not seen in the composition of Dikshidhar. It is totally intellectual and totally impersonal. In the case of Shyama Sastri, it's a very intense kind of an emotion of a surrender, complete surrender, feeling of seeking protection by the child towards the mother. That is the kind of feeling that he has given to us as composition. Coming to the first composition of each of them, that is indeed a landmark because that only indicates their coming into the field as a great Vagekara. So for Tyagaraja, it is said that his first composition was Namo Namo Raghavaya Anisham in the Ragam Desya Todi. As for Dikshidhar, we all very well know the composition Sri Nathati Gurugo Jayati in the Ragam Maya Malagula that he composed. Shyama Sastri's first composition is said to be Janani Natajana Paripalini in the Ragam Saveri. Finally, coming to the Mudhra aspect, that is, how did they sign their composition, what signature they used. Tyagaraja used the Swanama Mudra, that is his own name. Tyagaraja you can see as part of his composition. In the case of Shyama Sastri also you see Shyama Krishna as the Mudra that he has used. In the case of Dikshidhar, he has used the Mudra Guru Guha, which comes in almost all the compositions. Thus we see that the point which I wanted to share here is that here also another important thing is about the compositional structure that each one maintained, in the sense that Tyagaraja was a pioneer in the creation of the Pallavi Anupallavi Charanam format, where we also see that the tune of the Anupallavi gets repeated verbatim in the latter part of the Charanam. In the case of Muthuswami Dikshidhar, it was a different style, where he had two types of kritis he composed. One is with the Pallavi and Samashti Charanam, and also the Pallavi Anupallavi Charanam format. But nevertheless, in his composition, you see that each time there is fresh melody and there is no repetition of tune like that of Tyagaraja. Shyama Sastri charted out a different path for himself, quite different from the other two in terms of conceiving his melody. And there are also many rhythmical aspects that he actually embedded within his compositions that made it very unique. Thus we see that the Trinity, Tyagaraja, Dikshidhar and Shyama Sastri, though they were contemporaries and lived almost in the same place, each one created a different path of music. They did follow the traditional values, they did follow the traditional Lakshya Lakshana aspects. But in the end, we see that through their compositions, each one of them carved a separate and unique path. And they laid together the foundation for our music that has come to live for posterity.
CM 365, all about Carnatic music.